Right, I'm back again. Chapter 2 now. If you ain't read chapter 1, read it. This is 4 chapters that I wrote about overthinking. Just see what you think. It's just, I was going to put it in the book, but I'm not. I'm just going to share it with you and save it and see what people think. The chapter 2 is for downward spiral. You ever had those moments when your one tiny thought just sends you down a rabbit hole? Before you know it, your whole day's ruined. That's what overthinking does. It's like this invisible chain reaction. One small thing happens, something that most people wouldn't give a second thought, but for me, it kicks off a full-blown meltdown in my head. I remember this one time, it sounds stupid, but it's real. I said something to a mate, just a throwaway comment, nothing heavy. But the second I walked away, it started. That was a bit rude. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. Suddenly I replayed the whole conversation in my head, picking apart every word like I'm Sherlock Holmes. Then I start thinking, what if they're pissed off at me now? What if I messed up the friendship? By the end of it, I've convinced that that person hates me. I haven't even given them a chance to say anything. That's how fast overthinking gets you. It can turn something small as a text or a comment into a full-on disaster in your head. It's like you've got this inner voice constantly telling you that you've done something wrong, or you're about to mess everything up. And that voice is relentless. You try to ignore it, but it's always there. It's like background noise you can't switch off. The worst part about overthinking is how it pulls you into a spiral. It doesn't just stop at one thought, it drags up every bad memory, every mistake, and it slaps you right in front of your face. You start thinking about times when you failed or when people walked away from you, and you'll convince yourself it's all connected, that it's all your fault. I've had days where I've stayed inside, curtains closed, just to avoid people. Not because I didn't want to see anyone, but because I was convinced I screwed up something if I did. They'd say the wrong thing, or make someone mad, or just be too much for them to deal with. You tell yourself, better just to keep your head down and stay out of trouble. And the spiral, it gets deeper. Overthinking leads to self-doubt, and self-doubt, that's a whole other demon. You start questioning everything about yourself. Am I good enough? Do people actually like me? Am I even capable of doing the simplest things without making a hash of it? It's like living in your own personal interrogation room, except you're both the cop and the suspect. Over time, the spiral changes how you see the world and how you see yourself. You start expecting things to go wrong before they've even happened. It's like you're preparing yourself for a disaster, so when something does go wrong, it feels like proof. Proof that you were right all along. That you don't deserve good things, and you're never going to be enough. The truth is, overthinking, this is about thoughts, it's about feelings. It hits you where it hurts the most, your self-esteem and your confidence. You end up being your own worst enemy, dragging yourself down for things that might not even be real. The feelings of guilt, shame, anxiety, they just pile up. And when they do, it's like carrying a load too heavy for your shoulders. You end up crumbling under the weight of it all. I wish I could say I've got it all figured out, that I've learnt how to stop the spiral completely, but I haven't. What I have learned though, is to spot it. To see when it's starting. When my brain is gearing up for another overthinking session, it doesn't stop the thoughts, but sometimes just being aware of it can help you break the cycle before it gets too deep. At the end of the day, overthinking is a tricky beast. It feeds on your insecurities. It makes you doubt yourself, leaves you drained. But here's the thing, it's not unbeatable. You can fight it, even if it feels like it's winning most days, and sometimes the fight is enough. There you go, chapter 2. I'll leave them with you, and I'll do 3 and 4 later on. I'll see how you like them or not. Alright people, hope you enjoy. Remember you're fucking amazing. And big love, it's time to open up, not man up.